When we get up in the morning, along with coffee, toast, and cake. If you're like the old Stone Roadie, you like to wake and bake. Now let's join Craig, Reed, and Griff Martin as we head out on the road. So sit right back and buckle right in. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show. It's a Wake and Bake Morning Show. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Time to rise and shine. I'm Shelby Barrett, the Stoned for the Stoned Roadie Show, and it's time to Wake and Bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
The Stoned Roadie Show, podcast 212, Wake and Bake, The Morning Buzz, episode 90, action. Alrighty then, looky here, fellow Earthlings. Hey, it's Monday morning. It's August 19th, 2024, and my name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stoned Roadie, also known as the world's most famous roadie ever since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. Before the on this flat earth, and this is my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. And hey there, Griff, what are we going to talk about there today besides the fact that today was the last day of Woodstock? And I didn't know in 1969, and I never heard that the Strawberry Alarm Clock was asked to play at Woodstock, and they refused because they didn't think it was going to be much of an event. And then I also heard that whoever the closing act was, it was I think it was a toss up between Jimi Hendrix and somebody, and I think Hendrix ended up going there for some weird reason. It was the end of the night or whatever. But anyways, after Hendrix was leaving the show, they had it scheduled. They wanted Roy Rogers to come on and with "Happy Trails to You until we meet again," but that didn't happen. But that's kind of really coincidental. But what the heck we gonna talk about besides that here? You know, and it could be one of this. I could say this is going to be a really good show today, there, Griff. But like always, we don't know. This could be a really bad show. This could be the worst. But I don't think it's going to be the worst we ever done, because this is 212, and I think we've probably done that already sometime in the past. But I don't know. We might just surpass ourselves and do the worst one, and we might just surpass ourselves and do a really good show. So what do you think there, Griff?
Well, as far as that Strawberry Alarm Clock deal, I'm glad they didn't play there, because they might have got too recognized, and then Ed King never would have joined Lynyrd Skynyrd, and that would have screwed everything up.
Yeah, you know what? That might be a part of history we'll never know, you know. But there's a lot of history we'll never know. Jiminy Christmas, they've changed history so much.
Where your son Chad knows where there's a portal, and so if I can go get in that portal, you know, I can go back in time and stop the plane crash and all kinds of stuff, you know.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I just got to get with Chad and find out where that portal is. But yeah, we got a lot of great comments this time, a lot of Skynyrd related comments. But first off, though, yeah, that's pretty cool. Old Johnny commented about what happened to you, how you didn't get in, and he was either doing a little damage control, or I'm sure he didn't know about it. I'm sure Johnny didn't know you were trying to get in.
No, none of the band knew anything about it. You know, I showed up about 1:30. They weren't nowhere near there, but you know, I was only 200 foot from the stage, and Johnny said something like, Craig knows better. Yeah, I know better. I worked back in that production office for a long time, and I know if security come back there and said one of the plane crash survivors was at the back gate, I sure the hell would have went back there and seen who the hell it was. And I saw some blonde lady back there, and I think she come back there to see who I was, but she didn't bother to get off the golf course. And I kind of think they made a phone call back to main management and said, hey, should we let Craig Reed in? He goes, absolutely not. So I don't think Johnny got the whole story, but yeah, it was nice of him to reply to it.
Well, I'll put up a little what he said right here and let everybody see it.
Guys, thank you so much for all your love shown for Jesus Christ. Mine and my brother's single. A lot of people have checked it out. A lot of good response. Of course, there's going to be some bad here and there, but you know what? You can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself, right? And Craig Reed, I guess, was turned away, our old roadie that was with the band years ago. The band had nothing to do with that. Craig knows that he should try to call somebody. These days, especially, backstage is well secured. Can't just show up, and I hate that it happened. That was not my fault or the band's fault or anybody. But anyway, Craig, sorry about that, and I wish you would have reached out to somebody. We could have got you in or whatever, man. But hey, God bless you guys. Have a great Sunday.
Yeah, that was
I ain't
pretty
got
cool.
no problem with Johnny or nothing. The rest of the band. I talked to Sparky a couple of times, and I've never talked to Damien, but and I've never talked to Peter or the bass player. I don't even know the bass player's name, but yeah, I don't have any issues with Michael Carloni, the drummer, or Ricky. Or matter of fact, I've gained a lot of admiration for that. I've found out a lot about Michael Carloni's past drumming experience. Man, he was with the. I knew he was with the damn Yankees, but yeah, I didn't know the whole story. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, they love him.
Yeah, they're
He's a
all top-notch
phenomenal
musicians.
drummer. Yeah,
they're not. None of them are slouches.
No. And there's nothing wrong with.
And they put on a good show. I heard that show they did in Madison was a good show. Yeah, they're a good band. There's nothing wrong with them. Johnny's singing.
They do a great job. And anybody that says they don't, then you're just hating. But they're not the original Lynyrd Skynyrd though, and but they're still selling out. So,
but Ricky's pretty close. Ricky was in the band before they were Lynyrd Skynyrd. So
if they lose Johnny though, if they lose Johnny, that's it. They can't.
Yeah,
there's nothing left. They got to have Johnny because Johnny, man, he's a great front man. He's a good guy, and that was nice of him to mention.
That's what Ronnie always said. Like I've said 1,000 times, Ronnie always said, my little brother someday he's gonna be singing my songs because my throat's gone, and it was. Ronnie only had couple of years maybe of singing, Of course, he had Steve to help him out there at the end, but we'll never know.
Yeah, and you were talking about that Woodstock. I remember when we first moved to Lakeland, I was just a little kid, and then my neighbors were talking about going on a camping trip, but it was a concert camping trip, and then I asked my dad could I go because they had a son that I was friends with. And then my dad told me, yeah, you can go. And then we started seeing it on the news about how it was going to be a lot of police throwing people in jail and all this stuff. And then my dad said, no, you're not going to that. But you say if you'd have gone, Craig, you'd have probably taken that purple acid.
Oh yeah, I'd have took that purple acid and ended up in the damn tripping for 3 days.
Yeah, but you never know. You never know. I mean, they said, I thought it was the brown acid. I thought they said, don't take the brown acid.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Test my memory, see what color the acid
you
was.
must have
I wasn't
had
there.
You must have had some purple acid one time before.
I've had purple. Yeah, I had
like the
Mr. Bill.
microdot on the sugar cube. Remember the microdot?
Oh yeah, me and Alan did a bunch of Mr. Bill one time. Oh no, it's Mr. Bill. That's when I told Alan, I didn't know that was a lava lamp. We was up in his room and the lamp was melting. He said, Craig, it's not a lava lamp. That lamp was melting, man. And then I was up there a few days later. I go, well, man, that's not a lava lamp. There's no way that lamp could melt. He goes, yeah, I know. I told you. It was melting that night there, buddy. I tell you what.
Did you ever see Alan like tripped out really bad and he was out of it for like a couple days and you couldn't even wake him up or anything like that?
No, never did.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why that pipe.
Well, you said he was able to do like 4 and 5
Dilatas.
Dilatas.
Break down them Dilatas. Oh yeah, them didn't put him to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, if he can do 4 or 5 Dilatas, then he's a pro. Yeah, he's a pro.
At a time, he did 16 a day. He did 4 or 5 at a time.
Well, he must have been able to do 4 or 5 Quaalude then too.
Oh, I don't know. We didn't have a whole lot of Quaaludes back then. They were just about out of favor at that point. 874. They were just about not around anywhere. That's when the Mandrexes took over from Mexico. Then they had the gorilla biscuits.
You mean the lemons?
The gorilla biscuits. Those were the homemade Quaaludes. People made gorilla biscuits.
Well, last podcast we were talking about, there's something I'll put up here. Let me see if I can put it up here. We were talking about Sally Arnold and about that hat. And let me see here. There we go. So yeah, so there's Ronnie's hat right there. Sally Arnold did an interview with this lady right here, and somebody sent me a message, and they said that she had Ronnie's hat, and I was like, wow. And there's your hat. It's a Charlie One Horse, and hers, she said, it's got a couple little holes in it here and there, but there's Ronnie's hat. That's kind of crazy, man. And
this ain't one like Ronnie's. This is just a regular hat.
But Charlie One Horse made it, right?
Yeah, it's a Charlie One Horse hat, yeah.
So is he like the guy that made all the hats?
Those were the originals. We got them from we got them from Stetson, from what I remember. I think I got them from Stetson first, and then we got them from Charlie One Horse. and then Texas Hatters started doing them, and
what's that little horseshoe on there? Is that like something that he put on everything?
That's a Charlie One Horse logo.
So is that going to be on Ronnie's hats too?
Yeah, if that hat's a Charlie One Horse hat, yeah, that's on there.
I wonder.
Charlie One Horse.
I wonder if Charlie One Horse made that hat Sally's got on right there.
Yeah, those were the originals, or maybe one of the originals was a Stetson. I don't remember.
Well, that particular interview that she did with this lady was really good. I mean, every interview I see with Sally, it's just awesome. It's just awesome.
Yeah,
interview.
She does good. She's a very smart lady.
Very riveting. Very riveting. All of her stories. Yeah, she's just. And people are asking, when are you going to get her back on? I hope we can. A lot of times people come on and they say, yeah, I want to come back, and then we can't get them back on, but we'll see.
She speaks the Queen's English too.
Yeah, she definitely does. Yeah, she's got that proper.
Yeah, she speaks the Queen's English. She said that Mick Jagger speaks the Queen's English when he's around, but when he's around
Right.
just plain folk, he just talks. She said he talks so slangy she can't understand him hardly.
And I,
She said she tries to talk like that. She said I can't even talk like that.
and I think I got it screwed up because her brother, I think, is who gave it was Mick. No, it was who was it? Keith Moon had a robe or a jacket that he gave her brother, a red one, and she showed it on that podcast. And I think that's her brother that Ronnie gave the hat to too. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
that
think,
was he. Yeah, he did. He
and I
did.
think I said her son. I don't think Sally has a son, does she? She have a son? She
No, I
might.
don't think she's got any kids.
Yeah, she might not.
No, I don't think she's ever been married or had any kids or anything.
But yeah, there's a couple comments in here. One that Kagi wrote in here that I'll read. That's pretty interesting that he talks about Dean Kilpatrick. But we'll go ahead and start off the comments. Anything you got going as far as donations or anything like that, Craig?
Not really. Got a package from Kathy Keeble, and she had part of a donation. She said that she's sending more. I thought I'd just, when I got the rest of it, I'd mention it. But she did send me a few bars of mushroom soap, magic mushroom soap.
They're supposed to soak into your skin and get you a buzz, or
I don't know. I was reading in, one of them came in this little knitted like a cargo net little baggie, and it had the soap in there, and I was going to take it out of that baggie, and I read the instructions, and it said, no, you're supposed to leave that soap in there. That's a special soap, like a loofah or something. You leave it in there, and then when you're done with it, you just hang it up. It smells real good, Thanks, Kathy. But yeah,
you were talking about the guy who bought the hat from Cousin Fidel.
Yeah,
he bought a guitar now too, huh?
No. He was no. We talked about the Cousin Fidel. Cousin Fidel told me about he had one of those guitars, and I got a couple of questions about the guitar, about how much he wanted for it and stuff. But the guy that one of the guys was the guy that bought Leon's hat was thinking about the guitar too. I guess there's a couple other people thinking about it too.
Oh, they're thinking about it. I thought maybe they'd already bought it.
No, he bought the hat, but they're kind of because he wants $3,000 for the guitar too. It's signed by it's in a hard shell case, and it's signed by I don't have any info on it right here. But yeah, Bear, he's sending me that hat to sign.
Yeah, of course,
we talked about signing that hat. And I goes, no,
Yeah.
I ain't signing that hat. And he goes, yeah, I want you to sign the hat. So he's going to send it to me. But apparently he deals in those doggone drones, and he's sending me and Cousin Figel like a $1,200 drone. And it's like the newest state-of-the-art ones, and it's got like a 2-mile range and GPS and all kind of safety things, so you can't run it into nothing or something. Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah,
that'd give Cousin Fidel something cool to do. I mean,
Robert,
you can't get out.
Well, I asked Cousin Figel if he had a use for it. He goes, I'm too stupid to figure anything like that out. He said, I'll have my son figure it out. And I'm sure that he'll play with it, but he'll probably have his son come over and try to figure it out. But he sent me the instructions. I haven't had time to look at them yet. But yeah, I've been thinking about getting one, but I go, they'll be a lot cheaper and they'll be a lot better here in the coming years, which they have been, they've improved a lot since they.
Yeah, that girl that got you that Delta captain's hat, she had one and she didn't know how to use it, and she goes, "You want to try to figure it out?" And I turned it on, and the thing flew and crashed into the wall. I was like, "No, I don't know what I'm doing with it." That was when they first came out, you know.
Mark Frank, because he said I was into airplanes, you know, and he sent me a flight simulator to put on your computer, you know, because I got a 60-inch computer screen. So you hook it up to your computer screen, and it's like flying a RC plane. It's a simulator, and you fly. You just look at your and it's actually like flying an RC plane. It's like practicing, so you don't get them and wreck them. Yeah, I can fly. It's weird because the airplanes, but that when you're flying them away from you, the control works one way, and then when we're flying it toward you, you got to flip the control and do it the other way, unless you're ambidextrous or something. They're a little. I never did get the hang of it too good.
It's like backing a trailer
flying
up
an
in a
RC
mirror.
plane, but drones. I guess drones are a lot easier. I guess, you know. I don't know.
Well, now they are. They've got them pretty foolproof, where you can just, like you said, throw the controller down, and it just sits there and hovers until you.
Yeah,
tell it to do
there's
something.
got all kind of safeguards on them. Yeah.
But that one that we flew up there at the crash site, that was a pretty nice one. It was a little jerky, wasn't it? I mean, you had to, like, you could tell whenever it turned, it was kind of like it was turning.
That one you put some kind of what did you call that thing you put in your pocket, and then you send that thing up in the air, and as long as you had that thing in your pocket, that thing would fall. Well, one of us had that thing in our pocket, didn't we?
Yes, as long as it knew where that
as long as that knew where that chip was, that drone would follow us, and that's how it got us to, you know.
But we almost lost it once, and we thought, oh no, man, it's gone, you know. And then all of a sudden, Smick, he goes, "No, I got it. Here it is," and then it came flying down out of the damn woods, and it's amazing.
If you'd lose it back in that woods, you'd never find it. My God, you'd never find it.
Just think if you had something like that back in the Civil War days, you know, you could fly that thing around and say, "Oh, there they are," you know, and that would have won the war, you know, that kind of stuff. But maybe they had those, you know, if you're in the conspiracy corner, Craig. Maybe
I wonder if they had them back in the Tartarian days. You
Probably had them in the Tartarian days. They got them big enough where a human can fly them now. They say you can fly. Yeah, you can fly them for like 30 minutes. I think they've got like 30 or 45 minutes. They don't stay up very long because they're battery powered.
Well, he said he's sending me 3 batteries, and each battery lasts about 35 minutes. I think he said.
How big is it? Is it small?
I don't know. Yeah. I haven't got it yet. He just put it in the mail.
They got some really little ones.
Yeah.
And then
he said it's got a 2-mile range. I'm gonna fly it down to my buddy's that's right across the street down there, down the road. When I know he's back there sitting in his garage, I'm gonna fly it down there and have it set right outside his garage door.
And here's the latest pipe that I just finished, and the one that we're gonna put on eBay.
That was got a serial number.
Yeah, you can see the serial number right there, 02. And guess who's got 01? Me. I haven't made it yet, but I made serial number 02. And there it is. But yeah, so we're gonna test it on eBay and see what we can get for it.
Yeah.
Kind of give us an idea of what we need to be pricing them for, because the prototypes were pretty cheap. We let those go pretty cheap. So
yeah.
But I got all the kinks worked out of them. So we're gonna check that out on eBay, and then I got like about, I don't know, how many bases did you send me, Craig? 20 or something?
You sent me 24, and I sent you 21 back, I think. I think I got like 3 or 4 here.
Yeah, so there'll probably be
And
15 in the series, I would think, like 15 in the series, maybe of serial numbered ones. But the prototypes will probably be more valuable than the ones that are serial numbered. You know, prototypes how they are. So if anybody got a prototype, you know, don't think it's not going to be valuable. It'll be more valuable than that. You know, once Craig and I kick the bucket, you know, and it'll go up in price.
I'm
Me,
gonna have you make me one as soon as you're improve them. You know, you're still in your prototype. You
no,
know,
I'm done.
when
I've
you
already.
get up to about 10, you'll have them perfected. That's when I'll get one.
I don't know. I might start getting sloppy. But yeah, so
Well,
we'll
the
just
first one we
jump into
called
these.
leaky. We said, hey, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
It leaked.
I fixed that one. I took it all apart and fixed it, and it's probably
Oh, yeah,
different.
that's the one Sammy got. Yeah, that's one
Yeah,
Sam
yeah.
got.
And he said, tell him that the bowl, the stem's too long. Well, that glass goes all in there a long way, so you know. And now I've got it dialed in where you can fit where that glass fits right in that hole, and it seals up really good. But just like Craig said, if you're smoking it and you pull this thing out,
Oh, you can't do it. It'll
yeah,
kill
you're gonna
you.
die. 'Cause
It'll kill you.
it's gonna blow a whole wad of smoke in your lung, and it's gonna be a hurting unit. But yeah, there it is anyway. So, and I still got a lot of people. I got two of these left. Somebody bought one, and then there's another one. Somebody's interested. So these are the Hell House necklaces, and send me an email, edwg59@gmail.com. I'll put it up there so you can see it if anybody's interested in those. Because I don't like messing around with stuff too long. Then I got T-shirts coming in that I'm going to be taking up to Oklahoma with me. The they're kind of like those jersey shirts with the half sleeve. You know what those look like, Craig? And it's got the band on the front. I'll show them when I get them. Probably sometime today or this week, middle of this week, I'll have those available, and I'll sell them before I go to Oklahoma if anybody's interested in any of them. Help me pay for my trip to go up there for gas. But so moving right along, we jump into these comments. Did I didn't get to
Well,
watch
hold on a
the
minute. I got a comment here. I'm
yeah.
going to set up my telescope today because tonight's we're going to have a blue moon. It's tonight's a super moon or whatever they call it. It's I guess the moon's supposed to be as close to Earth as it is all
They,
year or something.
they
They
call
call
that
it
a blue moon
a
when it's
blue
close
moon.
to
Yeah, that's
once
tonight.
in a blue moon.
Once in a blue. This is once in a blue moon. Yeah, I guess they're not every year either. I don't know.
Have you got that telescope figured out yet? You know how to make it work?
No, I have I haven't even looked at it. It's sitting there in the living room in the window.
Because it's kind of like a computer thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a starlight. No, a light switch. That's what it is. A light switch. Supposedly, you just put it up in the air and turn it on, and it looks at the stars and figures out where it is by where the star where what it sees, and then you just tell it what you want to look at, and it goes and looks at it. Yeah, but I just want to look at the moon.
And you were telling me that you saw somewhere where Tesla said, "Oh yeah, the Earth is flat."
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw something today, and it was in the Tesla files, and the guy said, "Yeah, Nikola Tesla was talking about the firmament and the magnetic field. It's not gravity; it's magnetic, and this is the way these coils, the Tesla coils, work, and just like they talked about in the Tartanian Empire that they've destroyed from history. If any of you people don't know about anything about the Tartarian Empire, that's because it's been destroyed in history. All these and world fairs and stuff where they had all those, fabulous buildings here in the U.S. and then we had a World's Fair and they tore those buildings down, but there's still remnants of them, scattered around the United States. They have have one in Cleveland, public. there's a building down there that's real. It was built in the 1800s and it's still in really good shape. You know, they have them in just about every major city. They've got.
Well, the White House, not the White House, the Capitol building, right?
Yeah,
Which building?
yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those.
There's something underneath that where the mudslide had that halfway covered up. Yeah, they've proved that. And now they say the Eiffel Tower, that the Eiffel Tower is sitting on top of another city that was there.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower is sitting on top of another building. Yeah, the arch of that building is right underneath the structure of the Eiffel Tower.
Because the Eiffel Tower was an antenna.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was an antenna, not a tower.
Yeah.
You know? So,
yeah, and that, that's what all those old buildings you see with that, they all had that antenna on the top of them. And you go, it was the 1800s. What do you need an antenna for? Well, that's what it was for.
Yeah, but if somebody started watching the Stone Roadie show for the first time and they go, well, what in the hell are these guys talking about, man? That guy is stoned, and who's that guy that's agreeing?
Hey, you know, if I'm as stupid as Nikola Tesla, I'm good with that, man. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If I'm as stupid as Nikola Tesla, I'm fine with that. You know, perception.
Well, how about that little kid that that interview with that little kid who had everything figured out? You know.
Oh my God, yeah, man, I forget his name. That's a good one. Yeah, I posted that. I don't imagine a lot of people saw.
Yeah, he's like a little Elon Musk. You know, that kid.
Yeah, he said the Bible was like reading a children's book. And that's the way I always felt about it. It's funny.
The way he said it is we kind of created ourselves. And, you know, he's a really deep thinker, that kid. And he says he's already got energy figured out, how to harness energy. He's already got that figured out. So, yeah. More to come. Yeah. More to come, man. He's either going to be the savior or the Antichrist.
Well, he believes in reincarnation, and he said your soul is just energy, or your soul is energy, and you're just using this body, and your soul's in there, and once your body goes, your soul still remains. And he says that I wish I would have been Nikola Tesla, but he says I was somebody else. In the past life, I was somebody else, and says I would have liked to have been next like that. That was a strange. That was a very. But man, that kid was. Well, he was talking all about
Oh yeah, he was a smart kid. He was a deep thinker.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Was he about 13? I think. Yeah.
Something like that. But I mean, you think you were talking to like some kind of a scientist.
Well, he was talking about quantum physics and all all kind of he was just potting off stuff about quantum physics and stuff like it was like nothing.
And I think he's like already in college or something too. That's how smart he is. All right, hey, that was a pretty good podcast. I watched a little bit of it there with you and Kathy, and then of course I had a streak of bad luck. I had my air conditioner broke down, and they're coming today to replace it. That's like $5,000. And then my garage door, I hit the button, it opened, and it collapsed all on one side and burnt the motor up. Then my lawnmower broke today. So that's number 3. Of course, I did cut myself, but that didn't count. So I'm hoping that the bad luck streak's over with. And Gene Odom's not even anywhere around that I can blame it on. But I was going to call him and go, hey, man, I'm having Gene Odom luck. See what he says. I think he's up in New York right now. There's some friends of his up there that they're throwing a party, and they want Gene to come up there and tell some stories. He gets invited to stuff like that all the time, up there in New York and New Jersey and Boston, and he's got a lot of gangster friends up there. He says they're mafia, but don't tell anybody.
Think if he's up there near Kathy Ghazi, guys, she only lives I don't know, not even an hour from New York City, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he
Right
flew
across
up
the
there this
bridge.
time. They gave him a ticket, so I think he flew up there this time. And so he and I will probably be going out to Oklahoma together. I may have to follow him out there because I might stay there a little longer. He might not want to stay there as long as because I want to do a little sightseeing while I'm up there. I haven't ever been to Oklahoma or Missouri. I mean, I've been to North Dakota and places like that, but I haven't been around that area. So while I'm there, I might hang out a little while and check things out if the grid don't go down. And I want to have my car with me. I don't want to fly because I don't want to get stuck somewhere or be flying and the grid goes down and then the freaking plane crashes. Ooh, then, then we'll both be plane crash survivors.
What you gonna
Unless I
do
don't
when the grid goes
survive.
down?
But let's jump into these comments, Craig, and get started here. I got like 20 of them. Uh, Steve Pitt, guy named Steve Pitt says, I just finished reading Ron Eckerman's book, Turn It Up. It was fascinating reading and sad also. And as to Sally's reaction to the way he portrayed Dean in the book, Ron mentioned how Dean seemed to be an enabler. Like he kind of, I guess, he went around Gene and he was kind of hiding whiskey and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Uh, kind of sneaking stuff around Gene where Gene didn't see what they were doing. But he said that he spoke very highly of Dean, and he said he called him one of his loved friends. So, I mean, Sally probably might have took that wrong, but Ron Eckerman really cared a lot about Dean. So if he talked bad about him, he didn't mean it.
It
But
was
then,
funny. I was talking to John Neal um, yesterday about uh, Ron's book, and we kept saying stuff that Ron said in his book, and we were talking about the plane crash, and I was going, people had so much of a different perception of what was going through their minds when the plane was going down, and I've always said, that other people have said I was scared to death. It's the most scared I've ever been in all my life, and I've always said, I was kind of laughing when the plane went down, and because it was a safe plane. I mean, all you had to do was belly slide it down there in that pipeline that we were sliding in, and I says, how's the taxi cabs gonna come and get us, and stuff. This is gonna be something to talk about, and then I only had some real concern about maybe not making it through the plane crash for just briefly, because as soon as we made that turn and the engines quit, and I went, shit, we're over trees, and I pulled that table out of the floor and threw it to the back of the plane. It didn't go all the way back, and so I got up and put it so it wouldn't fly forward. And then on my way forward, I grabbed the curtain down off of that gold curtain down off the back of the plane, and got in my seat and threw that curtain over top of me. And it was just shortly after that we started hitting those tops of trees, going tush, tush. There was like three of those, and then bang, 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 and one final hit, and that was it. I mean, so I didn't have a lot of time to go through a lot of personal head trauma, but stuff like that. That's how what we were doing. We were talking about people that were in the war, and what sitting in Vietnam and sitting in a foxhole that raining on you, and you couldn't go to sleep because you were afraid the Japanese would come up while you're sleeping and cut your throat. When you're going through that kind of trauma in your head, that'll affect you forever. I mean,
Yeah.
I have friends that have that, and it's horrible, and their life is just a wreck because of it. And a couple of people on that airplane suffered that kind of trauma. When you just watching your life flash in front of your eyes. And Cassie Gaines went through that kind of terror and didn't make it, because Kenny Peden, when he was explaining what she was going through, she was going through a lot of head trauma or head psychological stuff in her head before that. She was scared to death, and then it killed her.
Yeah, Sally Arnold was talking about that. Kenny Peden told Sally Arnold that a long time ago. And she said he had a lot of like survivor's remorse over that, and then I guess because he traded seats with her, and then she died because she stood up and looked. But he had told Sally that, and I think it's in her book. So I thought that was a Stone Roadie Show exclusive, but it was actually in Sally's book, or Sally knew about it before we did. So sometimes you think you have an exclusive and you don't, So.
But John said that Ron Eckerman had the same experience that I did. Ron said when the plane was going down, he's going, shit, how are we going to get cars to pick us all up in this plane when we're landing in a field somewhere? How are we going to get taxis out in the field to get out of here? And he wasn't thinking about crashing either. And then he was talking about when the rescuers came, Ron Eckerman was sitting in a cubby place, and nobody even knew where he was. And he said, and the rescuers said that they had everybody out, and Ron Eckerman started saying, okay, you guys got everybody else, you can come and get me now.
Oh, yeah. Is that what he told John?
Yeah. He said, I didn't say a word. He said, nobody even knew I was there.
That's the same thing Steve Lawler said. He said that the guy tripped on him, and that's how he found him. He said, the guy tripped on me.
He said, okay, you guys got everybody else. You can come and get me now. And they're going, where the hell are you? But wow. Yeah, he didn't go through any of that PCSD or whatever, the post-traumatic stress disorder. He didn't go through any of that either, but I can see where some of the guys kind of experiencing that.
Well, if people have ever been scared, like, everybody's almost gotten a bad wreck, and that for that split second of time, and usually it's no more than a few seconds that you go through a close call. But you guys, I mean, it was like about 4 or 5 minutes that you were scared.
Yeah, that's a 4 or 5 minutes that lasts a long time. Yeah, it's like sitting in a dentist chair for 5 minutes.
And I kind of went through that. I was stranded at sea for 3 days with my father, and this big storm blew in, and I got a little taste of that when it seemed like there were like about 75-foot waves even, man. They were huge. And it's just, there's nothing like being scared shitless, Is that Sally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Sally and there's Alan. And
now here's kind of Kent Griffith, who's cagey on the comments. And this is kind of like, I don't know, man. I'm going to read this and we'll see. I hope we'll see what Sally says about this. I don't know if she was watching the podcast, but he says, one day the truth will come out about Dean. Fans will be shocked. Ron Eckerman was right, and a buddy of mine we talked to about this subject many times. He was saying that Ron Eckerman was a buddy of his, and they talked about it a lot. Sally was clueless. No one told her. If she had known, she would have stayed away from Dean. because I guess, this is just something that I think I might know what it is, but yeah, he said things are not always what they seem, and they're not always what they're portrayed to be. So I guess maybe Dean Kilpatrick had some things that he was hiding or something from her, in his opinion, but I don't know. That's just Kent Griffiths. If you want to go on the comments and read Kagey's comments, it's pretty lengthy. I always put some lengthy comments on there, and I don't have time to read the whole thing, but he's got some really great information because he was around all those guys, and even Ron Eckerman, he was friends with him. So yeah, so check that out. And then Kimmy, I guess I was talking about how last time we were talking about Kimmy, and she said something about her husband told her that if she didn't do something, that he was going to leave her, and so she did it anyway. And I was kind of cracking her on that but she goes, my husband is just a formality at the moment. I'm just his maid and his cook. He don't give a rat's ass what I do. Sad, huh? Royal asshole. Gimme, man. What do you really think, though, Old Kimmy cracking on her husband. Kimmy, does your husband watch the podcast? Because I'm wondering if Kimmy sits there and watches the podcast with her husband sitting there, because he probably won't like that. Then Steve Jones asked, Craig, when Leon sat in with Jefferson Starship, how did he know the songs in the set list? You were there for that. You were his guitar roadie, right?
They sent him a tape of their set.
Oh, they did, and so he practiced before he.
Yeah,
but a lot of times, Leon didn't really even need to practice. I mean, he was that good.
No.
He was just. Yeah, he could just.
That's nice to know their set list, though. I mean,
right? Yeah. But
yeah, he was aware of it. He was aware of it, like, I don't know, at least a week or 10 days before it happened.
So did he do pretty good when he
Oh
was
yeah,
there?
it was great, man. It was
Yeah?
it was great. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, they all dug it. Yeah, it was cool. That was a great night, man. Me and Leland Burpee went with him. I was his guitar roadie.
Did Leon ever do anything like on stage, like mess up and Ronnie jumped his shit, or was he pretty much no?
No.
So he kind of left
Even
Leon
even as drunk as he would get, he would still perform well.
Yeah.
Leon was probably the most Billy and Leon were the most consistent players when they were,
I remember seeing an interview with his parents, and they sent him to get lessons with a bass player teacher, and he came back and he goes, I know more than that guy knows. And he quit. See, Jimmy J says the story of how Craig knew about Alan's wife's death while the band was playing and being able to keep it together, knowing that she was dead, is a pretty deep bit of skin formation. Yeah, the whole time that, you knew that Kathy was dead and Alan's out there having a good time.
That was rough, man. Kathy was a good friend. Kathy was a real good friend of mine,
Yeah,
I mean, it not only affected me because of Alan, it affected me because she was a friend of mine,
You guys probably had to take off after that for a while, right? You had to did you have to cancel the tour, or where were you in the tour when that happened?
Somewhere out west. They got on a Learjet and it took them.
Did you still have a lot of venues left to play, or what happened?
I think we had something like 10 or something from what I remember for the end of that tour, but
did it take
like it took them? They were in a Learjet. It seems like we were out in Kansas City or St. Louis or something.
How did Alan take it? I mean, did you?
I wasn't there,
much?
Mike. Like I said, they put him. He wasn't even aware of what happened, and they put him in the limo. And
I mean, later, when you got around Alan, did it seem like Alan took him a while to get over that, or?
I can't really remember.
I mean, he probably started doing more drugs and drinking more.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah, it probably didn't
I
help.
don't know, man. It's I don't know. You kind of start getting numb at that point, when you've lost so much. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, you go into survival mode or you either
well,
don't.
you get kind of numb after a while when you start losing friends like I have, or he did, or after that happened in the plane crash, and that whole situation with the band, your dream just disintegrated in front of your life, and with losing the band and that whole thing. So after that, it's I'm sure losing Kathy was, you start getting numb.
Yeah, because then he had had kids to take care of without a
Yeah,
mother. He had to deal
yeah,
with,
he had to.
his kids losing their mother. You know what I mean? Good God, he had to sit them down and say, "Hey, your mom's not going to be coming home
Yeah,
anymore." Which
I
that's
don't, I don't really remember exactly how it was, but we got back to work pretty quick.
yeah. And
I don't
Jimmy,
remember. I don't remember going to her funeral or any of that
yeah.
because I was a pretty alcoholic, drug addict at that point too. So I probably went home and just drowned my sorrows in the bottle too.
Well, then on a lighter note, Jimmy says the name of that club where the skinny guys like the fat chicks is called the Chubby Chasers. Yeah, there's a club. I used to know a guy. He's a real skinny guy, and he loved him some fat women. And he was always had him a fat girl, and and people used to like tease him about it. And he said, "Man," he goes, "you don't know what you're missing." So yeah, he's just the opposite of you, Craig.
I
But then
guess.
then I saw him like about probably 5 years ago, and he was fat. He ended up getting fat. So I don't know what happened to him. Uh, Carol, the cake girl, says these fat girls scarfing down food. Like you said they had these girls on. They were eating food and had a lot of followers. She's thinking maybe they got some sponsors, like McDonald's or something like that, that are paying them to eat all that food. They got a lot of followers. I've been seeing a lot of these fat girls eating these big meals, and they got like tons of subscribers. And here we are struggling, work our ass off every day.
Oh, it's funny, man. They're all dressed up, and they have these great big old 4-inch fingernails, and oh, it's hilarious. And they're just eating like pigs. Oh, it's funny. It's people are watching some weird stuff, but
Well, there's plenty
they're
of
getting
it
a
on
lot. They're getting a
Facebook.
lot of subscribers. They got a lot more than we do.
I know.
They got something going.
It's like that Bo guy that does all that dancing, and then he dances for 15 minutes and he
Oh
starts singing, and everybody's like, "Oh
man,
my
that guy.
God."
The more he used to. I've kind of been watching him for a while. I thought he was funny, but now he's like must be doing like multiple ones every day, and it's like some of them are
Yeah,
bad.
and he does it in his bedroom, like by his dresser with a
Oh
microphone, like
God.
he's hiding from his girlfriend or something.
Oh
Because he's
God.
got a girlfriend, and she's I forget his first name. His last name's Bo, and it's spelled
Well,
like,
I saw him doing one where he was reading a letter to this woman and saying that her husband was jealous because she was always watching him and how she was just so attracted to him, and her husband didn't understand, and oh, it was a hoot.
well, hell, he's about 60 or something, isn't
Yeah, yeah.
he? Yeah, he's a
I
skinny
mean, he's not in
dude,
bad.
and
He's not in bad shape.
no, he's not in bad shape. He's out there shaking his
I mean, he's
pelvis
cool though.
around.
He's, like I said, he's out there fishing and doing
Yeah, he's
some
having
pretty
fun.
cool stuff.
He's having fun.
He's got a lot of confidence, I'll tell you that.
And somebody says that guy from Jimmy's World, I've been kind of watching this guy. I've been wanting to get on, see if I can't get on his podcast, man. Maybe offer to take him out and to the crash site or something. But he says he has several videos. He bought Elvis Presley's old jet and he cut the wings up and he's selling pieces of it, like for souvenirs, and he's serializing them. And well, Paul Conley showed me a picture one. I didn't know it was this guy. I finally figured out who it was, but yeah, anybody wants to check out a really cool podcast is at Jimmy's World. He's always going and visiting these air shows and air museums, and he gets to videotape these really cool old planes. Some of them that were built in the 30s, like these old Stearman and these old planes, and then he'll buy them, fix them up, and fly them. And it's right up your alley, Craig. You need to check out that Jimmy's World. Sammy Joe says, Griff, I'm not a guy, I'm a girl. Yes, you have to tell me that 3 times, Sammy Joe, because the first 2 times don't usually take, but I'll figure it out after a while. Sorry if I called you a dude there, Sammy Joe, but you must be a new subscriber. But welcome to the podcast, and thanks for watching. We appreciate all our new listeners. And I have noticed, I haven't been paying attention to our subscribers, but I've seen a lot new usernames on our comments.
It's kind of hard to
cool.
subscribe on some things. Like I can't subscribe on my smart TVs.
No.
No,
I've
so
tried.
A lot of people that watch us, can't subscribe.
It's like you got to do it on your phone.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
Yeah, phone or a laptop or PC.
Yeah, it's
you can't do it on a smart TV.
They'll show like a little icon, and then click the bell, and then I'll take my little button on my hand on my remote for the TV, and I'll try to subscribe on there. It won't let me. But yeah, you have to actually go onto your phone and do it most of the time, unless somebody knows a way to do that. They can tell us about it. John,
I usually watch YouTube on one of my smart TVs, and I can't subscribe to them.
Yeah, I just bought a smart TV, and I remember you were telling me go get the cheapest TV that you can because they're all a piece of shit. That's what I did. I went down and I forget how many inch, but I've been having to. I got a window unit in my bedroom because the rest of the house is burning up because the air conditioner's broken. So I got a window unit in there. So unless I sit there and twiddle my thumbs, I don't have anything to do. So I had to go down to Best Buy and get me a TV. And it's actually a Fire Stick TV. And it was pretty easy, I just plugged it in and then you just scroll through it. And as long as you've got the password to your Wi-Fi, it hooks right up. They're making it a lot easier to use the TVs. So
yeah, I know. I've been taking my electronic stuff to a guy, just a guy from China. His name's Chong, and
oh, he's an Asian guy.
He's from China. His name's Chong.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got this little electronics place called Portage Electronics. I think he's about ready to retire. But I sent my buddy took his TV over there, and he went and picked it up. He goes, yeah. He said they're not even worth fixing anymore. They're making them all so cheap. He said,
yeah, it's everything.
He said just go buy the bigger, the size that you want. And just buy the cheapest one you can and use it for as long as it lasts, and then just go buy a new one.
That's why I still have my old washing machine and dryer, because they're like really old, and they're the kinds that, when they break, you just get a new part and put it on there. They're not like, they don't have a motherboard. they don't have all this electronic stuff on there. So I don't want my washing machine to break, because then I'll have to get one of these cheap pieces of shit. I've had those. When I moved into this house, it had an old washing machine in there, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna keep that thing, and it's works good, It's
I have to replace my dryer. I'm just gonna go get a new one. Those things fill up with lint and stuff. I don't know.
Oh yeah, is it on its last leg?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just been taking a long time to
Is it a gas or electric?
electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually
I don't know. I've had it for, I don't know, 10.
I like the gas dryers because there's not a lot of parts that you got to mess with. All it is a thermocouple, and a motor and a belt, and
I don't have any gas in this house, man. Gas, I don't trust gas.
No?
I got Murphy's Law, man. If it can go wrong, it will. If I had gas in this house, it would leak. I can get it, but I don't want it.
Knock on wood. I need to knock on wood because I've been going through a bout of bad luck here lately. See, old John Hartline says Ronnie did an interview where he discussed punching people's teeth out. He said he had no cause for doing that, and he sounded like he was remorseful. Apparently, I guess the deal with Billy is they were outside Ronnie's room being real loud, and it pissed Ronnie off, and he got up and knocked Billy's teeth out. That's what this guy here. You can see that.
I don't really remember I remember when it happened and I heard about it. I wasn't there, so when it happened, so I heard about it. I don't remember.
Well, I could see if you were being loud outside Ronnie's room, he'd come out and knock the shit out of you. You ever see anything like that happen? Did he ever say, y'all need to keep it down, man, I'm trying to sleep? Anything like that?
No, no.
Because you kind of had to let Ronnie needed to sleep. I mean, he was,
Yeah.
Was he like pretty easy to get up at the hotel? Like if you were at the hotel, and who woke Ronnie up?
Usually Dean.
Yeah.
Usually Dean. Dean usually had an adjoining room with Ronnie.
So he'd just go in there and wake Ronnie up. Say, hey man, I need to get up.
Dean always had an adjoining room with Ronnie, and that way, if Ronnie needed anything, Dean would. Ronnie didn't have to leave his room.
Right. Yeah. He needed a personal assistant.
Yeah, if he needed to go get some ice or something, Ronnie didn't have to leave his room. He just have Dean go do it.
Did you see a lot of people, like when Ronnie would go somewhere, like if he had to go down to the lobby or whatever, would people start mobbing him? Was that?
It just happens. I mean, if a lot of times you just don't want to stop and talk to people for 10 minutes and sign autographs. You just kind of get tired of it.
Was he pretty cool about it though? Like,
you gotta act, pay your respect to your fans, but sometimes you just don't want to deal with it, Instead, listen to somebody's freaking story about, for 20 minutes, you hate to,
right. But there's not a lot of Ronnie Van Zant autographs out there. So he must, he must not have signed a lot of autographs, huh?
No,
He probably stayed clear of crowds or whatever, but
yeah, tried to, yeah.
But he was usually pretty nice when people came up to him, though.
Oh yeah,
was he? Yeah.
Well, like I said, there's a lot of times he ended up in the bar by himself, getting in trouble, and then coming wanting help, wanting a friend. There's a lot of times he wandered down there by himself.
Did he when he went down there, was he like, when you say you get in trouble, was he starting shit with people, or was he?
I don't know. I would, like I said, he'd come up and bang on my door and say, "Do I have a friend?" What's wrong, right? I'm down at the bar, man. messing with me.
I imagine maybe he would go down there and get drunk and he'd start some shit with somebody.
Oh,
I don't
God,
know.
I don't know.
David Hester says, in the past, every civilization has been taken over by another country. Maybe it's our turn now. And don't you know, other countries are laughing at us. At the same time, they're licking their chops, wanting to take us over, especially right now. I would say, that's going on, man, because they're not telling you, but they're getting ready to start a war, man. They're that's how they make money, these evil bastards that run the world. They make money off of war, and then they like to thin the herd out, and they don't care if your sons and daughters get drafted. And I've already heard them talking about starting a draft up again. I've heard it. So
yeah,
if we go to war or whatever, they'll start the draft up. Now they won't get me, but
I don't think a lot of people realize how serious a reset when they're talking about a reset. I don't think there's a lot of people that realize how drastic that can be.
You're going to start getting real uncomfortable if we start a war this time, because there's people in the country now that have crossed our border that I think they're organized and they're ready to do some sabotage, and it's going to get pretty nasty.
I hear they're going from down there in Florida. I hear MS-13 or them guys from
Grady Judd's already caught them.
Are going from house to house, just wiggling doors, looking for places to get in, or
I had a guy come in my garage and the other day, and he won't do that again. Scared the shit out of. I ain't gonna tell you what I did, but yeah, he was in my garage and he's like looking at all my stuff. He's turning the steering wheel on my boat, and I'm like, "Who the hell is this?" And did I tell you about that? Oh yeah. Oh man, that guy I scared him shitless. I snuck up on him. And he won't do that again. But he was, I'm turning 65, and he got all my information, and he wants to come over and get me started on Medicare so he can make some money off of me. And I said, man, get the hell out of here. I said, you solicitor? No, I'm not a solicitor. And I said, well, then what are you doing? Oh, I'm just want to see if you need some help with your insurance. I said, well, you ignored the no trespassing sign over there. But, I scared them shitless, and they won't be coming back here again. See, Jeff says 300-pound on the hoof. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, on the last podcast, I think I said, we used to say that whenever we'd see a big fat guy or a fat girl. I'd say, man, that sumbitch goes about 300 pounds on the hoof. Because that's how they do cattle, I guess, whenever they slaughter cattle. They say, what's that way on the hoof? What's it way dressed out? And Brian Gibbons asked Craig, were the roughest shows the ones that were from the original bands? In other words, the shows where you had some rough shows, was it mostly the original Skynyrd, or was it the tribute Skynyrd that you had?
Probably tribute. I don't recall any.
Really?
Yeah. Don't want to.
What would happen? People having problems with people in the audience, or
drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that would be the biggest problem we ever had with doing any shows anywhere. It was influenced by drugs, alcohol. Yeah.
Was there like in the tribute? I know. Who was it? It was Paul Abraham.
Or maybe maybe not the tribute, but through the history, like Rossington Collins. That was the worst. Rossington Collins and Alan Collins. That was the worst. The tribute was bad at times. Yeah.
Remember, Paul Abraham said that you guys were at a hotel, and then I think it was Johnny and Gary were fist fighting out in the.
Oh yeah,
It was out
in the yard.
Sprinklers came on.
Oh yeah.
What were they fist fighting about?
That was Nashville, I think. I don't
Yeah?
remember. They got into it a few times.
Did Johnny and Gary, did they get into it a lot?
Quite a few times, probably
What was it
5
usually
times, and
about?
I was there and had to, stand in between them so
You
they
had to
didn't
break
hurt
them up,
each other.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
What was it usually about? Was it about?
Well, I don't know. Johnny commented one time that I seemed like I was always on Gary's side, and I went, "Well, Johnny, Gary signs my checks."
Yeah, you do have to kind of kiss the boss's ass a little bit, huh?
So I think, yeah.
And then whenever Gary left, Alan goes, "What are you doing over here? Gary's your buddy."
Yeah.
I'm not your buddy, Gary.
Yeah.
Well, I need a new buddy. Oh, Winslow Red Cross. She's a pretty cool chick. She says he was says all weekend they found him in the dentist. Oh, he's talking about your dentist that was in the chair and put on the nitrous oxide. She got a kick out of that because they found him Monday morning, and the guy seemed like he would have died if he'd have been on that all weekend.
I'm telling you, yeah.
So he got in the chair and put the nitrous oxide on, and he was like passed out when they found him on
I
Monday
guess
morning.
that's what the guy told me, I don't know. That's what I remember while I was under the influence.
I've never had that nitrous oxide.
Oh man, yeah. He turned it down. Like I said, he told me I could control the amount, and I had him jack it up. And when it hit me that hard, real quick like that, I went, "Wow!" I mean, I thought I was tripping, man. And I went. He said, "You okay?" And I went, "You can bring it down just a little bit, And he did, and I come around and I goes, "Okay, jack it back up."
But does it like take away the pain?
Yo, your ears ring, and it's like you can hear. It's like he could talk to me, and I could hear him talking, but I couldn't. Yeah, you're sitting there, and all you hear is your ears are ringing, and he's like, he's talking to you. But you're just sitting there like you're just tripping, man. It's like,
yeah. I heard it gives you a bad headache when you're done. So
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's why I never wanted to do it because I get freaking headaches too easy.
Yeah, it puts you out.
Yeah, I'd rather not have it if I'm gonna get a headache. Oh, Brian Gibbons said he heard Ronnie punched out Billy's teeth because he was complaining too much about Alan tuning up on stage too loud where the audience could hear it.
I heard that one. That maybe Kathy Godsey said that one last week or something. I don't really remember him tuning up on stage like that. But some people said that they could hear it on the album, the live albums. They could hear people tuning in between songs.
Oh, I heard a lot of tuning in between, but it wasn't just Alan. I mean, it sounded like everybody was, tuning up, and I even heard Billy.
Well, these days everybody's got those pedal boards where you can hit a switch and turn off your volume, and you got this pedal board down there. You hit the switch and turn off your stage volume, and you hit the switch, and you got your stove tuner down there, and you're looking at it, and then when you're ready to go, you hit the switch, and you got your stage volume back on, but we didn't have all that shit back then, when you had to hear yourself on stage, you had to hear the guitar. You couldn't, if you got an electric guitar and if you don't turn the volume up, you can't hear what you're doing. So and that we didn't have tuners on stage for everybody like they do now. Now everybody's got their own tuner on their rig. Back then we didn't have that,
Yeah, well, so Alan and Gary, they didn't have a lot of pedals anyway. Like I guess
they don't have any pedals. It was guitar. It was guitar, chord, amp.
Really? But Alan had the Crybaby. But
but we didn't keep that plugged in because we had that rigged so that we could just run a straight cord right to his guitar because we didn't have it. So had to run a cord out there to run into the Crybaby, and then a cord that went from the Crybaby to the guitar. That was 2 chords,
Wow. And then just think all that great music that they played and not even, didn't even have a pedal board.
No, it was guitar, chord, amp. Yeah, these days everybody's, Skynyrd, they're all wireless, No, the old Skynyrd, that was all guitar, chord, amp. There was no boxes nowhere going in.
The only way they got different sounds was by flipping the switch, to the different pickups and
that was it.
And the tone knobs, and Ed King used to use that a lot. For different things.
Gary had a Phase 90, that he used for Mr. Breeze when it would go. I'd click it and he'd go, oh yeah, and
gave it that.
And then I'd turn it off, and it was only used for that much.
How about the tribute band? Did they ever step up and get pedals then, or did they keep it the same way?
No, it was always. But I wasn't doing guitars then, so I'm not exactly sure what they used, but they didn't use chords. They did get away from the chords.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like if you look at Peter Frampton, but Peter Frampton, he had like a lot of shit back then when he was doing Frampton Comes Alive. He had all kinds of different stuff.
He's
a techno guy.
That hose he stuck in his mouth, and
the talk box.
The talk box. That's just a speaker driver that
I think he said there was somebody that he knew loaned one to Joe Walsh, and he liked the way it sounded. And I'm not sure if he borrowed the same one that Joe Walsh used or what, and they shared it or what, but. Yeah, he got hooked on that talk box, and then
didn't he use that? Joe Walsh used it on Funk 49 or something like that. Wasn't that?
That's the first time I ever heard the talk box with Joe Walsh.
Yeah,
and then
he's from right here in Kent, Ohio, right?
Oh man, he's cool as hell. He's Joe Walsh.
I don't know, 30 minutes from where I live.
I saw him on that Daryl's house. You ever see Daryl's house?
Mm-hmm.
And he was on there. He's a cool guy, man. He's okay. Let me see here. That was Brian Gibbons. Scott asked Craig, "Do you think Alan would still be alive if Kathy wouldn't have died so young?"
Oh God, I don't know. You never know, It's that's just one of those things you never know. Maybe, yeah, probably, yeah. Probably, you never know. Probably,
yeah. I mean, if she'd have been around longer, then he wouldn't have been dating that girl that supposedly, Steve Reynolds said she was driving.
Alan died in what, 1990?
Yeah. So, well, if she'd have never died, he'd probably still be around.
Alan's been dead for 25 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, those guys were all young when they died, except for Gary. Then Kent Griffith, he says, Artimus told him once about a Black Sabbath show, where we were talking about Black Sabbath, that the band was getting ready to walk on the stage and saw, I guess they had a cross burning up above the stage, and the guys in Skynyrd saw that, and they refused to go on stage until they pulled that cross down. You remember that?
I don't remember that. I don't know. No, I don't remember that.
That's what Artimus told Kent.
I don't remember that. No.
No, just one more comment here. Justin Alexander says, Craig, if you were to get up and start dancing and singing, all all the fat girls would come running.
I ain't dancing and
Yeah,
singing.
be like that guy, Bo, man. That would boost up the subscriptions, get you,
I can't
get
dance.
your
I
belt
can't
buckle
sing either.
on, and
I just.
you'd be like Biden. You see where Biden was trying to
I
dance?
just sing because I want to and I can. That's
You see where they had
I'm not serious.
they had Joe Biden up there, and then they had Kamala and her husband, and everybody was making fun of Joe because he looked like he was lost, but not a single word about the cross-dressing black guy that was standing next to Kamala's husband. Nobody said a word about that. If you'd have seen that just 20 years ago, you'd have said, "What the hell is that?" But
Oh
now,
yeah, you changed your name over there, your pronoun
oh
to
yeah,
he him.
he
I was
him.
listening to a show a little last night, and they were talking on the radio, and the guy was trying to offering somebody $100 if somebody could call in and explain what she her was or
The
something.
pronouns, yeah. What the
Yeah, explain
pronouns
that.
are.
And nobody could, people were calling in, they couldn't explain what she, her meant. But they were saying that Camellia, when you go to work for her for the campaign, that's one of the questions on the questionnaire. Are you a she, her, or,
A he, him, or a
yeah,
she, they.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
and then there's a lot of these young chicks. They think they're cats, and they're making cat noises. They're just mentally ill. But if you,
It's funny. It seems like a bunch of the people that are mentally ill are also Democrats. That's kind of
well,
peculiar.
yeah, because it's a
They're
club.
obviously mentally ill, and they seem to be Democrats, but they're obviously mentally ill, and there seems to be a lot of them, and most of them. I
Well,
don't know.
according to the ratings, she's winning.
Oh
So
no, that's not anymore. That was a couple days ago.
they
People
revamp it.
start.
I haven't watched it. I've been
No,
busy.
they're trying to catch on now. People are starting to catch on now that it was just a big media thing, I think. I don't know. They tried to blow it out of the water, but I don't think it worked too well.
There was a lot of people getting a kick out of our background that we had with the with those
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
the fake people. Let's see if I can find that.
Yeah, I got it on here. Let's see.
Yeah, there they are right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's about what it looks like right there at
Yeah.
the and this will be a good test because we didn't talk too much about politics on this one. Let's see if we get monetization on this one or not. But you and I haven't been doing too well. You
Yeah,
and
it
Kathy.
seems like every other one, man. It's just
Yeah.
like they just sometimes they go through, sometimes they don't. I think the one with me and Kathy Godzi Sunday went through.
Yeah, it did. I saw some commercials on there.
And
It was long though. You guys were on there for a long time.
hour and a half, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I had my earbuds in and I was cutting the grass listening to it, and I didn't get to listen to the end because my lawnmower exploded on me. And so I didn't get to finish the end of it.
Oh yeah, we're getting a lot of people that after that one we're going, yeah, if you ever yeah, I'd like to come on and do a show.
That
Yeah,
would be
I'd like to
cool.
come on. We got it. We're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Just have a guest. Just have a guest come on for half hour or
Or
so.
figure out how to go, we can go live and take questions live and, call ins, and we have to figure out how to do all that kind of stuff. But we'll start working on something new.
Yeah,
Um,
we could do a tape of one, and then you could just add it into one of our things.
Because I see people doing stuff on YouTube all the time that they were way ahead of what we do. We're just Craig and I are kind of like technophobe guys. It takes a while for us to figure it out, but once we do, we'll start using it. But
That's like
yeah.
I said, I get a kick out of it before that people start a show. Oh, we got a good show for you today, That's
Oh,
like,
we don't know.
we can't say that because we don't have a clue. We don't even know what the
No.
heck we're going to talk about. I can't.
Well, if it weren't for our subscribers, it's kind of like we like to have a conversation with our subscribers and include them in on everything. And, that's just for me, that's a lot of fun.
Well, Kathy put up that post, to ask questions, and then she said a lot of people waited until later to ask questions. So she said on the next one she does, she's already got a bunch of questions for the next one. But I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's why we like to talk about everything, flat Earth and fat people and politics and what's going on new in the world and stuff. Because I mean, you throw a little Skynyrd in there and throw a little bit of some worldly news in there, and it makes it a little more interesting. So it's not. Ever since we went to the Wake and Bake, it's not just a skin information site. It's everything. Oh, but that's all the comments, Craig. I guess we can wrap it up.
Yeah. Like
It's been about an hour or so.
yeah, like yeah.
And happy Monday, to
Yeah.
everybody. And
I don't imagine my audience is much more different than normal regular people. 80% of people out there are fat, so I imagine 80% of people watching are fat, so.
I'm really glad I'm not a fat effer anymore. That would really suck bad, in my opinion, you fat effers.
I love that laugh at the end of that laugh of yours, man.
All righty then. Yeah, like Roy Rogers was gonna sing at Woodstock in 1969. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then. And that's a wrap. See you later, alligator. At the wire, crocodile.